I think it was Bovada that had put out there Lakers were this type of stuff's going to come out all the time, so don't pay too much attention to it. It was like most likely, where would Robert Williams, where's he favored to go most likely? And it was with the Lakers. So then that's going to obviously, people are going to start taking that. I'm going to use it as a topic in a conversation. It's like, all right, is there something here or is there not something here? We'll look into it. We'll look into it together. Yahoo Sports put an article out there that I think was, I thought was interesting. I was okay with it because the way they can acquire Robert Williams, the only way they can acquire him is through a trade. And I think if there's been one benefit that the Lakers have really had so far in the offseason, in my opinion, and I'm not telling you it was a perfect offseason. I don't want to make it sound like Lakers all of a sudden, because I don't want to make it sound like Ayton's going to be reliable and Marcus Smart's going to be reliable. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think you're excited you got them because you feel like you got them for pennies on the dollar, but there's still a lot to be figured out there. Only way you can get Robert Williams is in a trade. And the point that I was making was one of the benefits that the Lakers have put themselves in this offseason is they have figured out a way to add some players, get players they feel like they really, really needed. They identified, if I told you coming into the offseason, what do the Lakers need? We would have said, they got to get a center. What the hell are they doing? We would have said they need a better on-ball defender, especially since Dorian Finney-Smith left. Well, they got a couple of guys to fulfill those roles, and they didn't have to give up any of their assets. So chatter starts about Robert Williams, and I saw Yahoo had put out an article on Robert Williams. First off, let me just say this about the idea and the concept of getting another big. I don't mind it. I got to be honest, and maybe I'm a little bit less. I think Jackson Hayes is an okay player. I don't really hold much emotion towards him. I thought last year he played better than I thought he would. I thought Jackson Hayes did as best of a job as he possibly could for the Lakers last year. Let me stay on the center position for a quick second. If you told me the Lakers got DeAndre Ayton, they got some other center that they were also able to acquire in the offseason, and then they got Jackson Hayes, then I would tell you, okay, we got some size now. Now I'm looking at the Lakers probably a little bit differently. In a league, you guys know how the league evolves. Let's get a sip of this coffee real quick. Everybody knows how the league evolves. One day we're going to sit there and we're going to say, there's no bigs. Everything is shooters now. Bigs don't matter. You play the bigs off the court. And then last year happened, where all of a sudden, and this offseason happened, all of a sudden teams are trying to get bigger. You're starting to look at the Houston Rockets and the size that they have. The Clippers, on top of already having Ivica Zubac, get Brook Lopez, and they have John Collins as well. They got some size there. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, they got some size. I don't mind the concept and the idea of trying to get another big. Here's the problem with Robert Williams. Have you guys seen how many games this guy has played over the last couple of years? Have you guys taken a look at how many games he's played in the last couple of years? And by the way, this is kind of some of the concern with Marcus Smart. This is going to be some of the concern with some of the players that the Lakers have. You're not just taking a chance on a player. You're also taking a chance on players that really haven't been available. So I'm not here to knock the trade idea, because I do think if you told me Lakers got another big, I like the idea. I like the concept. I like the angle that the Lakers would be taking in regards to doing that. But with all that being said, here's Robert Williams over the last couple of years, okay? He has played, let me give you a total here. He has played, doing the math here in my head, 61 games. Not 61 games last season. Not 61 games the last two seasons combined. He's played 61 games in the last 3 seasons combined. He played 35 games in 2022-2023, 6 games in 2023-2024, and 20 games in 2024-2025. I hope he's healthy. Let me just put it that way. If you're going to go out there and make a move for Robert Williams, it is an expiring contract. Let me hear. I got it in my notes here exactly what the dollar amount was. expiring contract on $13.2 million. So I do think there is a benefit of that as well. It's very low risk, all that stuff. I mean, listen, if you're able to give away pieces that just don't really matter that much to you, then I think the Robert Williams trade, I'm more interested in listening to it. Yahoo Sports had a couple different trade options. Should I pull this up with you guys? Let's pull it up together. We might as well just pull this up together. Let me pull this up with everybody so we can look at it together. Yahoo Sports had 3 different trade scenarios that they kind of put in here in the mix for the Lakers. And I'm just going to walk them through, and it just kind of gives you an idea of the type of trades, the proposed trades that are out there. I'm going to assume and I'm going to hope Yahoo Sports put this all in there, the dollars match and everything else, okay? So here's one trade scenario. Robert Williams, you trade Dalton Knecht, Gabe Vincent, and a 2032 second-round pick. I'm probably not losing sleep over that. I'd like to hold on. If I could hold on to Dalton Knecht, that would be nice. I'm not saying in this deal. I'm just saying in general, because I do feel like this guy's got to kind of pick up his stock again before you do trade him. I do think you're trading him on the absolute low. And if I'm Portland, I got some interest in this. I got some interest in Dalton Knecht. Gabe Vincent's an expiring contract as well. There was one trade scenario there. Okay, here's another one. Robert Williams, Portland receives Dalton Knecht, Maxi Kleber. Okay, there's another trade scenario out there. And then the final one was Robert Williams, Dalton Knecht, Jared Vanderbilt. I'm holding on to Vando. I'm not doing that. Of all 3 of these trades, I think the one that seems like the Lakers are giving up the least, maybe this one, the Dalton Knecht, Gabe Vincent, a 2032 second-round pick. I don't know why I have a little bit of interest in trying to see if Maxi Kleber can be a little bit something for the Lakers. So overall, I just wanted to, I wanted to mention that conversation and that chatter in regards to Robert Williams, but something to keep in mind, Robert Williams, the man's just not healthy. That's the problem with Robert Williams. He's just not healthy. But I think the concept of getting another big, I don't have any issue with. I really don't have any issue with. I think that the concept of getting another big kind of falls a little bit more in line to what's going on with the NBA right now and some of the different size that's out there. Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments here. Let's see what we got here. We only have one center. Just because Luka makes Hayes look decent doesn't make him a legitimate center for a contending team. If you can't play him in the playoffs, he's not a center. Yeah. I mean, listen, let me tell you this. They only had Jackson Hayes, and they still weren't playing him. And that was against Minnesota. By the way, another team with size. That was a team with Minnesota who had Rudy Gobert and had, Naz Reid and Julius Randle. Some guys, I'm not telling you all of them are big, but, certainly their style of play. Certainly Gobert's a big. What was Gobert's stats in that final game? Wasn't it like 26 and 24? He had the most monster numbers I've ever seen, and they were like, maybe Jackson Hayes, maybe not. Robert Williams' body has never recovered from his Celtic days. With Williams, Lakers at times could play 2 bigs. Again, I'm a fan of the concept. I'm just worried about Robert Williams. I'm worried about Robert Williams just strictly because of his, obviously because of his health. If we get Robert Williams and he's healthy, he cannot change the whole team's defense. He can change the whole team's defense. Listen, I spent some time on Friday. I was kind of constructing what I like in a team. And a couple of things that I mentioned, I'm like, you got to have defensive specialists. Like, what part of my concern with Luka and Austin Reeves, it's like, if you don't have a squad that has a defensive presence, a defensive pedigree, a defensive foundation, I don't really know how far you're going to go in the NBA. So I think this is a good point as well. So I think people like the idea and the concept of getting a big. Maybe they like the idea of concept getting Robert Williams. My only issue is how do you can't really plan for that man being healthy. He's played 61 games in 3 seasons, 61 games. That's less than, 25% of the games over the last 3 seasons. Robert Williams is a 20-game-a-season player hurt. Seiko, thank you for being a member for 4 months, brother, and thank you for your comment right there. Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.